Nation.
Region Review.
The Raging Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Raging Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Ready? Who's that team ready? Who's that team ready? Yes, sir.
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
For the third straight week in a row, or the fourth straight week in a row, should I add, in the words of Mike Desimo, that's right, Cajuns win, baby! Cajuns go into Conway, avenge 2020, take care of the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina by the final score of 34-24. Second week in a row, Louisiana has won by that score tally, but it's still a win. Third week in a row, Louisiana has won by double digits, and now officially, the Cajuns are bowl eligible for the seventh straight year in a row. Louisiana now sits at 6-1 overall, 3-0 in conference play, and they are now in the driver's seat in the West until the huge showdown 10 days away down in San Marcos. But we got 10 days to rest for that game. In the meantime, we're going to celebrate this win today against the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. I'm Jerry, joined by Nick and Lane. We welcome you to the Region Review postgame. We'll take your calls, comments, and want to hear your feedback. But, guys, I'm not going to lie, man. This game was definitely a lot more nerve-wracking than the last couple weeks. I thought a lot of things we did today were self-inflicted. We definitely kept the game close. But at the same time, when it was time to make a play and time to get the job done, and unlike other years in the past, we found a way to pull out the win.
So, not going to hide this from the listeners, but I am hiding it from my mother. I actually had an appendectomy. And so I am, this is the first time I'm upright in a couple days, Jerry. And I told you during the game, I probably popped a couple sutures, especially when Terrence Carter completed that pass from Wooldridge. So really excited about the way guys performed today. Wish I could be drinking some whiskey. I'm drinking some boring Diet Coke here, which I'm not even supposed to have that. But yeah, I'm not going to, I wouldn't say I complained against the last couple of wins, but you felt like you had a little more out of this team than they showed. And it felt like for probably 78% of this game, this team had more in them than they showed. And finally, you had that dagger in the heart that you needed, that you didn't have the last couple of games. And you felt like when we got that, we were good. And that's when I say blow out a team. I don't mean blow them out by 50 points. I mean just step on their necks, and move on to the next game. And boy, does that set up a fun game coming up, like you said, in 10 days. Holy cow. I mean, if people across the country aren't watching that game, then they don't like college football. I'm sorry.
Lane, what are your thoughts, man? What did you see today?
A lot of missed tackles, but I'm glad to get the win, avenge the loss from avenge the no game from 2020 and the loss. But I'm looking forward to the matchup against Texas State. I'm actually planning on making the trip out there to go watch it. So that'll be a fun environment to go witness the Cajuns playing.
It's funny. This game, I find it was interesting because we found ways to win offensively, not by running the football, but by passing. Coastal was giving up around 200 yards per game going into today, and we only were able to muster 143 yards on the ground. Now, hopefully, Zylan Perry is doing better. I know he was carted off the field, looked like he had somewhere in the midsection where he was hurting. It'd be nice if he can heal up because we're going to need him for Texas State. Not sure what the extent of that injury is. But Ben Wooldridge today, 27 of 36, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. It was good to see us win in the passing game. I thought that every week we've played, we've won in different ways. Last week it was, key turnovers on defense. The week before we beat them with the ground and pound against Southern Miss. Wake Forest, we basically did everything offensively where we couldn't do anything wrong. Today I thought the passing game really stepped up. I mean, that touchdown pass to Terrence Carter with a little over 2 minutes to go. I mean, that might be the play of the year up until this point. You basically just took away all of the momentum. You had a false start, which was kind of a problem today. I thought we had some really, really goofy mistakes that we made offensively that I know we can improve on and fix, and luckily we have 10 days to fix it. But it was good to see that we made the key plays when it really mattered. And look, there's a lot of things we can dissect today. There's a lot of things that didn't look pretty, but at the end of the day, we won the game. We're 6-1. And we can pretty much control our own destiny from here on out. But, guys, I don't know about you, but do y'all want to take some calls? Should we start taking some calls right now?
Yeah, and I'll drive it for a bit, Jerry, until I
Okay.
pass out. But until then, just wanted to say, look, prayers to Zylan. Hope he's okay. We need him back. I thought, I thought Bill Davis did Bill Davis things, but I need to see a little bit more out of Dre Washington. I thought he looked a little bit rusty in this game. I don't think holes opened up as much as they did for him as they did for Bill. So I did see that, but I want to see a little bit more out of Dre. We know what he can do. I want to see him hit those holes quicker than I saw today. But overall, very pleased with everybody's performance. Outside of defense, we could talk about that, but you know what? We did enough to win. That's all that matters. RC, you were first up. I saw you in the queue. What's up, man? How are you?
Man, 6-1 never felt so good.
I feel you, brother.
Yeah, it was frustrating at times. I feel like we probably shouldn't have been sweating as much as we were. But the good thing about this is the last 2 years we came away from this game with a loss, and we'd be bitching and
That's
screaming
true.
on this podcast right now.
That's true.
This
That's
is
true.
this is the difference in the last 2 years and this team. They're finding, like Jerry said, they're finding ways to finding ways to win in different ways. And 6-1. I know last year we were 4-2 or whatever, but there was a couple games early on where I think we were at homecoming for Georgia State where we threw an interception in the end zone. We kind of just gave the game away. And I know whenever we were talking about the Tulane game, whenever the balls don't bounce our way, finally, a ball, we drop all these balls, and then all of a sudden we come away with a 56-yard touchdown to the guy who literally just dropped the ball. So it's like we're making up for the silly things that we're doing. And, next Tuesday, I think we need to make a road trip.
I think it's a little bit of resilience, man. Is
Yeah.
the word that I would use, because you feel like these guys believe they're going to win. And like you said last year, in the last couple of years, I don't know that we felt that. I think we were scared of our own shadow. But this year they have more confidence than we do because, we're all ready to hang it up in early in the third quarter. But these guys just keep pushing. And I think that's what's so impressive. They've bought into what Dez is selling. And I like to see that.
Yeah. The only thing that's really concerning to me is I think we had 10 or 11 penalties that we have to clean that up.
Gotta
Because
clean that
that those are killing us. And then the missed tackling and letting some of the tight ends and receivers run free. I think those two things right there, that will end up eventually costing us a game if we don't get it fixed.
And the drops. You can't forget
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
drop
yeah,
passes,
yeah.
man. Again,
Definitely.
it's like we have P. Diddy fingers. I don't know what kind of oil they got on their hands, but we cannot hold on to passes. And it's usually in critical moments. Look, I really feel like if we didn't drop passes in the first quarter, we would have put this one, we'd have blown them out. I mean, it would have been 21-0 and they were done. But we just couldn't get it done. And like you said, that'll eventually cost us, but that's correctable mistakes. But again, you're starting to see a trend here. That's something that we need to focus on, especially going into Texas State.
I think what also is crazy, what's crazy too, Ryan, is the fact that today, we missed a lot of tackles. We dropped a lot of passes. But if you look at Coastal Carolina's offense, Braden Bennett was their entire offense. And that was what made it more frustrating to me was with the arm tackling was if you stop him, this game, we might have won this game by 17 to 20 points. I mean, if you notice when they started throwing the football, especially in that 2-minute offense, they really didn't do much. I mean, look, how many interceptions did we drop? We had to have dropped at least 2 or 3, or at least had a chance for 2 or 3 picks, and we didn't get any. So it's crazy with the number of mistakes we made. We still came out on the road and won by double digits. Oh, by the way, this was Coastal Carolina's homecoming. So not only did we spoil a game day experience, we also spoiled their homecoming today as well.
Well, they're stupid.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that scheduling list for homecoming. I'm so sure. RC, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Come just leave yourself on mute, but if you want to come back and chime in, we'll be around. Let's see. Looks like we had somebody who dropped off. So let's go ahead and go on to Kevin Dore. Looks like you were up next. What's up, man?
Just enjoying the 6-1 feeling, man.
Gotta love it, brother.
Feels damn good, doesn't it?
It does. You know what feels even better? This program has now been bowl eligible for 7 straight seasons, which is a Raging Cajuns football program record.
Nick, remember in 2011? I'm sorry to cut you off, Kev, but I remember in 2011 we actually had a surprise ceremony at the indoor facility. It was a big get-together, a big social. We probably had, probably 500-600 fans show up. It was like a Tuesday afternoon, and the season wasn't even over yet. And we did this big ceremony where the representatives from the New Orleans Bowl came to the indoor and basically did a public display of an invite. And it just goes to show you, like, we made such a big ceremony out of it because we hadn't been bowl eligible in over 40, or been to a bowl game in over 40 years. And now here we are sitting here, guys, 7th straight bowl game as if it's just, a normal thing.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I wasn't around for the Dog Days years. I kind of became a fan of this school and program in the late 2000s, 2008, 9 or whatever. And even then were some sad times, and I can't imagine how great it feels for, the guys that have been around like y'all to finally get this success.
Okay, I'll compare it to this, Kevin. Go research UMass football and look at the last 5 or 6 seasons. That's what we experienced when we were in the dog days of our football program. Was that pretty accurate, Nick? UMass?
No, I don't think anything's comparable to what we had to go through.
So even worse than UMass.
Yeah. Like a 70-something to nothing, or what was it?
We're talking about
77 to 7.
Yeah.
Washington State,
77 to 14.
I mean, how many
Louisiana
times
Tech.
did we? I mean, we went to Texas a couple years ago, and they beat us by what, 20 points or something like that.
And we could have won the game.
Yeah, and they usually, I mean, when we'd go out there, they were going to score 60. They were going to hit 60, maybe a 70 burger on us. So it wasn't even slightly competitive at any point in the game.
Yeah, and now it feels like any team we play, we have a chance of beating in the since the Napier era, at least, with the exception of a couple of years last year and the year before.
Florida State,
even though
Florida State,
year,
right?
I mean, Minnesota game was a competitive game.
Yeah, we should have beaten Minnesota. That pissed me off. But like, you look at Florida State, it just depends when you catch one of these teams, man. Because who would have beat Florida State when we played them and they kicked our ass? Oh
God, but I'd love to play them.
Let's
right
play
now.
them this year.
I'd love to play them
be
right
close.
now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's great. Look, defensively, obviously there are some issues, but I said it towards the end of the game there. I said after we kicked the field goal, look, defense, if there's a time, it's now. Get a turnover, get a stop, let's go home. And they came through when they had to come through. And I kind of feel like this defense has done that all year, really. Maybe a couple of times they faltered late, but, look at last week with all the turnovers in the second half. This is a second half team. The defense especially is a second half team. They come through with turnovers, stops, whatever it takes. And look, you force a punt, you get the ball back. The offense tries to put its foot on the gas instead of just running it, trying to burn clock, which is the right thing to do. And you shoot yourself in the foot again with the false start, with the Terrence Carter drop, and which was kind of the story for the middle portion of the game. But it shows the resilience of these players on that 3rd and 12 or 13 for Ben to roll out and just find Carter down there, and he makes an amazing play. Oh my God. I think I punched a hole in the roof. I jumped so high for that play. I mean, it just goes to show the resilience of this team, and just like I said, just keep finding ways to win. No game's the same. We've played so many road games this year, and we haven't lost any. I mean, how many teams can say they're undefeated on the road this year?
No, not many, and if any, I don't know. But I will tell you the one thing that I've noticed out of this defense, and look, our defense was getting, I think, in the third quarter, our defensive line was getting blown away by their offensive line. But like you said, you said we're better in the second half. I think we're just better in adjusting in the second half. That's what I feel this year that we've had with Salgado than we've had in the past. We adjust. We don't just stay the course. We adjust. Even though things are going good, things are going bad, we adjust in the second half. But what I also noticed is that when teams are going to get big plays on us, it's on these trick plays and we fall for it every time. And I'm not gonna criticize Salgado for not being prepared. I mean, the fake punt against Southern Miss pissed me off because like everybody in the world saw it coming, and thankfully there was a penalty, but we all saw it coming and we couldn't stop it. But that's really the one thing on defense that I've noticed is that if they're going to get us for big plays, a lot of the time it's something tricky and we fall for it every time. We're just not prepared defensively for that. I don't know if you guys see the same thing, but I've seen a lot of those big plays getting they break out on those big plays, on those trick plays.
Yeah, I agree there. I think a lot of the problem defensively is mostly just tackling. And I know Des kind of talked about it this week. He feels like we've had hats in the right places. It's just a matter of making plays most of the time. And he's saying, we don't. He feels like we don't need to sacrifice hats out of the secondary to help stop the run. As good as our pass defense has been, and as strong as our cornerbacks are, I think maybe it might be time to start putting a little bit more personnel towards stopping the run. I mean, you may drop another big play here or there on the back end, but it comes with the territory. But you can't keep letting teams run for 200 yards on you.
No, I agree. Especially when the way we move the ball. I mean, like I said in the first half, they could not stop us. Only thing that stopped us in the first half was ourselves.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Appreciate your comments. We have a long line, so go ahead and mute yourself, but unmute if you want to comment on what someone else is saying. Nova, you've been waiting a while, man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, gents? How y'all doing today?
Fantastic.
Doing really well, man. Doing really well.
The fact of the matter is we played very well today. Yes, we had some mental breakdowns on the offensive line. I expected that compared to the team we playing. They were going to be motivated coming out to play. Those mental breakdowns, those false starts, that was very, very frustrating. We got to clean that up. We were our own worst enemy. But for the most part, if you look at how we played as a team today, we kind of were in control for the most part. We gave up some gashing plays. Our defensive line, it worries me because we're catching on the defensive line. We're not winning to the point of attack in the run game, and we're catching. And you can see when we catch, we're tackling. They're getting 3 extra yards after contact. I mean, it's so doggone frustrating to watch that. And I figured we'd clean that up. But if you look at our team as a whole, we are who we are at this point, right? And we just got to accept that, right? This team is going to be a grinded out team, but they're veteran. And what's great about them being a veteran team is that they're knowing how to close out and win ball games. We have not been this way in a while.
No,
Since the Billy Napier every year, we have not been this way. And that is just so exciting to see that, because like my CDS was kicking in, man, at the end of that game. Like it really was. And I was like,
all of us.
Here we go again.
For all of us, look. I mean, the last year we might lose this game. The game against Wake Forest, we most likely lose this game last year. Against Southern Miss, we probably lose that game. App State, the last 4 wins have, we've been in the same scenario in the last 2 years. The difference is that we're winning them this time. I mean, look how much of a difference that is. I mean, 6-7 compared to 6-1 right now. There's your difference right there. You're right. Closing out games.
Yeah, it was great to see. Like, Carter dropped that ball and that was huge, but then he came back and made a great play, right? Like Ben Woolridge. What can you say about that dude? Gamer?
Play of the year.
Is that dude a gamer or what? Is that dude a
Play
gamer
of the
or
year.
what?
Play of the year.
That dude should be the comeback player of the year in all of college football.
Agreed.
Because what that dude has done and come back the way he has played and stayed focused. This dude has been what I'd say is a game changer for this offense. He is a general. He's led us down the field. And when you think the chips are down against the boys, this dude shows up and he's ready to play and he makes plays. That quarterback run for 8 yards on that first down play, that was a pretty big play right there. And he got some tough yards, and made it happen. And you could tell he's, he don't have the explosiveness, but he did enough to get what he had to do. And that was very encouraging. I'm still not high on the game against Texas State. I think we're overall a better team than they are. I just don't like our matchups. I'll be honest with you. I think Texas State will win that game at home. They're going to be fired up. I know we're going to be playing good. We're coming in playing well overall as a team. I don't have a super ton of confidence in that game right now. I'm kind of like, prove me wrong, right? Like this is the game where we go and lay an egg in. I don't feel like we're going to lay an egg, but I just don't know if we're going to play up to the way we would hope we would play against Texas State. I think they provide matchup problems for our defense, especially in the run game. I'm going to tell you right now, you look at Texas State, Marty has not had a great game yet, but Marty is a good running back. But Parr, the backup guy, the guy that played for Arkansas State, the little white dude, that dude can run the ball. And he has, every time he has played against us, he has run and gashed our defense. And that was so like it's something to watch out for. I think their 1-2 running back combo is going to cause us a lot of problems. If GJ Kinney's smart, he would definitely pound the rock against our defense right now because we're catching. And that guy Parr, he's a guy that's going to pound it and make us pay for catching like that. So we've got to fix that, and that's what worries me in that game. I want us to come out and win. I hope we win. I'm pulling for the guys to come out and prove me wrong, and do what they got to do to be a veteran team and win a game again in a tough road environment. You do that 2 weeks in a row, man. Sky's the limit for this team, guys. Like I'm telling you, win that game at Texas State, that this team can definitely go 13-1 this year.
Yeah,
again. Like,
I was going to say, you win
as a team.
You win at Texas State, you may finish the regular season 11-1.
Yeah. I mean, it's an exciting team to watch. Our offense, I mean, we're predictable sometimes on offense, but what Mike has done this year, if you noticed on third downs in these late game scenarios, he's not just trying to run the ball and make them force timeouts, but he's going in and he's doing these little dink and duck passes. So it's one of those things. So hold on, guys, I got to go. I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Nova. Sounds like he has more important things to do than talk football.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
We appreciate you, brother. All right, sorry about that. I think I accidentally muted everybody. Let's see. I see a few people here. I see you, Andy. I see you, Tyler. But let's get to let's see, Cajun Zookeeper. You've been holding on for quite a while, man. What's going on, brother?
Okay, first I want to start off with, yes, I had Caden derangement syndrome. I will not take questions on that. All right, cool, okay. Secondly,
oh, we all did. I mean, there's nothing to argue there. We felt the same way, brother.
If you're a Cajuns fan, that's just natural. It just comes. It's almost like anxiety.
Yeah, that's fully natural. Let's see here. Well, what went? I'm gonna start with the negatives this time around instead of the positives. I know, shocker. Let's see. That speed option play, we got to learn how to cover option plays. We had. Is that Osai covering the pitch man? That was the first time I think the Cajuns have ever seen, a speed option concept. And if Kenny is, well, not to say Kenny isn't watching it, he's got his own things to deal with. But if he's watching the film, that is the first thing I think he's going to highlight, which is we got torched on a, 1 second. Got torched on a speed option concept. And Madi Power or Pear, however you pronounce it, they got the running backs with speed and power to complement McLeod on a speed option concept. Penalties killed us. I think the referees just like throwing their flags, gets them a good arm workout, but not to say that it wasn't deserved. I think it was 10 for 75.
It was unacceptable, whatever it was.
It was too many.
Too many.
And I'll say a lot of those. I mean, yeah. I mean, the fact that we're coming out of we're getting a ball on first down, out of a TV timeout, and then we get a delay a game tells you you're not focused. And you felt like there were times in this game where we just lost focus.
Or we would jump. We would
Right.
flinch. Our offensive line would flinch, and when a guy would go in motion, it's like you practice this. This is
But
high school stuff.
I'll challenge you back on that, Jerry, and I'll go back to Zookeeper. They were the defense on Coastal side. They were yapping on their side of the ball, which should have been called for a delay in game, but they never were.
Correct.
Disconcerting signals. So I get that, but I think at some point the officials need. I mean, obviously Dez is telling them this, and they're just not. They're choosing not to either listen or catch it. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there. I don't think that was necessarily. There's no way that who's our center? His name's escaping me.
Landon Burton.
Burton. There's no way Burton gets two false starts. That just does not happen unless he's drawn. I am fully convinced that comes from the Coastal side. Sorry, just had to vent on that, Zookeeper.
No, you're good. I think you covered the final negative I had. Positives. I think that is the greatest passing performance I've ever seen from Ben Woolridge, and that is not exaggeration, not hyperbole. 27 for 36, which I believe is 75%. Let me do the math on that.
It is. No, it is. It is.
75%, nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is arguably National Player of the Week, unless Austin Gianti does something. But I digress. Woolridge just lit up their defense. We stalled a little bit, but I think everybody's going to be talking about that play we clearly designed on the 3rd and 13. We clearly designed that. I will not hear otherwise.
Correct. I agree with you.
I think fielding punts, we did better on that. Bernard didn't field as many,
And our kick coverage, by the way, on the other side of the ball, our kick coverage was better this week, I thought.
Oh, yeah. Certainly. Bernard let punts go. He didn't try to return everything. Let's see. We forced them to make a switch at quarterback. I think it's a big positive because yes, Vasco was playing like ass, but if you in a perfect world here, they were going to ride with Vasco the whole game. So they respect you enough to make that change. And yes, it benefited them. But if you didn't take your opponent seriously, you would have kept Vasco in the entire game, for better or worse.
And there's a reason he's a number 2.
Right. Let's see. Woolridge had a great game. Terrence Carter, I think, give him the keys to the city. 7 catches, 149. Just give him the keys to the city at this point. That drop. Yeah, I agree with the play call. The ESPN announcers were 100% on this. I agree with the call on 2nd down. Just when he drops it, that's where we went wrong.
I agree. It was a good call. Had he held on to that ball, I don't know if he gets a first down, but he gets damn close.
Right. And would he have stayed in bounds? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I'd really like to have seen.
Right. But sometimes those things lead to silver linings, which was the play that, everybody's going to talk about for the next 10 days. What else? Running, running wasn't bad. I'm going to say it like that. Running wasn't bad. Could have been better, definitely. But we started to abandon that, I feel. Or not abandon it, but start leaning heavier towards the passing, which not a problem if you're riding Ben Woolridge's hot hand, because not only I'd have to look at the record books, but that might be a top 10 yard performance of all time. I can keep talking while I look this up. Woolridge, I'm gonna keep talking about Woolridge because the CDS is starting to get to me bad. And plus, I keep talking more positive so that Terry can, counteract me with the more negative stuff. You have the whole intro and everything. Okay. Woolridge was great. Terrence Carter was great. And then we don't give enough props. I don't think anybody gave enough props to Bill Davis. He had a catch. He had a touchdown catch, right? But he also had 100 plus yards on the ground. Combine that with the 52 catches, that's nearly 165 all purpose, which is great. You know, when he was able to step up after Zylan went down, um, and I'm also looking through the Wilders stats. He was starting to spread the ball around. Um, 7 catches for Terrence, 2 for LeJean, 4 for Robert. Yeah, Robert, and 3 for Jacob, 1 for Harvey, 2 for Caden Jensen.
Oh, he definitely undoubtedly spread the ball around. I just think
Right.
the guys still need to hold on to the ball a little better than they did today.
Oh, undoubtedly, but you know, he was extremely efficient. We normally like to think of Ben as a game manager. I know, and one game doesn't dictate that he's a game manager or not. But that was definitely not a game manager performance. That is somebody who took the offense and elevated it. Because let's be real, Wooldridge, I would say, is the reason. If we had to put one reason as to why we won the game, it was Wooldridge, his play. You know,
I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100%. That he stepped up today.
but let me find that record. Because speaking of records, Almendaris broke Stephen Artigue's record, I believe, for most field goals in a career.
Yeah, that was awesome.
At the same time,
yeah.
At the same time, I'm not sure if he's got the most points in a single season or in a career.
Well, you got a challenge. I got to move on because we got about 5 people behind you. But look that up, man. And if you want to chime in after, we want to hear about it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Zookeeper. Appreciate you, man. I see Andy. We're coming to you in a second. Terry, don't go anywhere. Tyler, you're up next, man. What's going on?
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Doing excellent, brother. Like you are, I'm sure.
6-1. I'm sure you're feeling it too, man. Enjoying it with us.
Hey, man, I've been waiting since 2020 for us to play these people again, man. I wish I could have been out there playing.
Tyler, you were on the 2020 team, right? Were you? What?
Yeah.
I mean, you were not. Okay. What was the
I
vibe?
was.
Okay,
I
were.
played
You were.
since 2019.
That's right. Okay, so I still recall. And what upset me the most about what happened in 2020 was not only the fact that they canceled it when you guys were actually in Conway at the team hotel. Not to bring back any bad memories, but today has to be so redeeming for guys like you and others who were on that team having to experience that. I mean, we were upset as fans. I can only imagine as a player what that must have felt like after flying all the way there, practicing all week, knowing that we were going to win. And for them to come in and say, by the way, the game's canceled, and then a few days later have their team take a picture next to the trophy that we technically would have won.
Right. That was a bad night, man. That was a long, dreadful night that night when we got the news, man. I don't think nobody went to sleep that night.
Well, the fact that I'm talking shit about Teddy Gallagher Jr. with Andre Jones Jr. right now on Twitter. That tells me how much it means to them that we win tonight. Because Teddy Gallagher was the first one to say anytime, anywhere in the Wendy's parking lot. Yet we get there, we'll arrive, we're ready to play, and then they chicken out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. This was a bittersweet win for us, man. All us old heads that was on that team. But, man, it was a good game, man. Offense, I don't really got anything to say but the mistakes with the flags and drops, those drops could have extended drives and maybe had points at the end of those drives. Like, this really should have been a blowout win. But, we still, at the end of the day, fought through the mistakes and adversity that we did go through to pull it out. Defense, we got to get better with tackling. I feel like that is our weakest that's our weakest thing on defense right now is stopping. The back end is playing great right now, man. They getting the pass breakups, dang near forcing picks, when opportunities there, they take them. We did have some opportunities that we did drop today, we've dropped like 2-3 picks, I want to say. So like those little mistakes, we got to fix. And I want to piggyback off of what somebody was saying about being able to adjust. That is the biggest thing I have seen defensively that we have been able to do this year compared to the last, 2 years. We've been able to adjust, and it shows on the field that we have adjusted to what they are doing.
I feel vindicated by that remark, my man, because I'm the one who said it. I love it. I love it.
And man, I can't wait to see what these people do next week, man. When we play Texas State, that's another one.
Hey.
They haven't beat us. It was hard every time we went down there, to play them. Besides, like I want to say my freshman year, yeah, we blew them out freshman year, but they played us here in Lafayette. But it's hard. It's hard to play in Texas State, man. That's not an easy stadium to go in and win at. So I want to see how we do, how we prepare, and how we, come to play them, man, because that's going to be another tough one.
Well,
And here's the deal with that. I'm sorry, Jerry, before you go,
No,
I
go
just
ahead.
want to say, Tyler, the one thing with that is if we want to be big time, I always say this. If you want to be big time, be big time. This is going to be a big time midweek game on national television for all the marbles, potentially all the marbles in the West. So, I mean, this is our chance. I mean, show us who you are, because we've shown flashes of how good we are, but then we come back with the drop passes and the penalties, and then we back up, and then we kind of try to reassess and say, well, are we as good as we thought we were? This is, I think, in 10 days, the chance for us to prove we are who we thought we were, which is the team to take the West. Jerry, go ahead.
And we got 10 days. I mean, look, Tyler, I
Right.
know. Look, I know the football mindset is we'll play you the next day, but the beauty of it is we have 10 days to fix this. That means that's 10 days or 3 more days of film study, 3 more days of preparation, 3 more days where you can sit down and say, okay, here's some of the things we need to do to improve. Because look, I know the coaches are going to go back to the drawing board. I mean, they'll still, I know you celebrate the 24-hour rule, but there's going to be some things they see on the film tomorrow that's going to make them hold their nose and say, damn, this is not who we are. We got to improve here. So, the beauty of this, I'm really, really glad that they actually gave us a 10-day window or 10-day break to go into Texas State, because I think that's more than enough time for our coaching staff and our team to, polish up some of the things that they need to polish up before heading to San Marcos, because you cannot make some of the mistakes we made today in San Marcos and expect to win. That's just the reality. But I have faith that this team will get it fixed, and, hopefully in 10 days we take care of business and control our destiny.
For sure, for sure. I wouldn't say this game is what probably might decide the West. I don't know. The West, we got some heavy hitters this year. You got Texas State. They gonna give us a game. Still got South there that played well early on. I don't know what they've been doing lately, but still, they showed flashes of being a pretty good team. And then the showdown for the last game. That's gonna be a game.
I'm just saying, man, if both teams, my hope is, and look, I hope for every other team in the West to lose before we play them. But if that doesn't happen and we get to Monroe and we're both 10-1, bring it on, baby. I think that would be a fantastic. If you don't bring Sports Center out there for that, then you're stupid, ESPN. You're
I'm about to
stupid.
say Texas, and I mean Monroe. They show up for that game too. I
But
don't
look,
know if they show up for any other game, but when you will come in town, bro, they are there.
But look, I don't want to.
And they rowdy.
I don't want to think ahead outside of let's just win next week at Texas State, and I'll start thinking about that today. But I'm gonna just enjoy the win.
Oh yeah. We're gonna enjoy this, and we're gonna start getting ready for Texas State, man. I can't wait to see what these dudes keep doing, bro, because they doing it, man. I think the biggest challenge for them right now is when are we going to have that complete game? We just haven't had that complete game yet throughout the whole season where we are clicking on all cylinders. That's when we're going to truly see what this team really can be. And that's my challenge for the players. If we have any players in the chat right now, is like, when are we going to have that complete game? Because that complete game will definitely show us like what we could reach for. Because I mean, it's unlimited, man. We can reach for the stars, bro. This team right here is special, and I done been on the special teams within the last 5 years, and that's the vibe I'm getting from them. The way I see them play on the field, how they interacting with each other and everything, man. This is a special team.
I
You
agree.
know, and
Totally.
we hold our destiny in our hands right now. So we just got to keep chipping,
Well, thanks,
keep
Tyler.
chipping.
I appreciate you, man. Hey, just put yourself on mute if you want to chime in later. We got some other people to go to, but I appreciate your comments, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Before we go to the next person, let's see. Mitch Jensen is in the space tonight. He's actually on YouTube chiming in. Of course, loving it for Caden. He had a big catch tonight.
Had a good day today.
Yeah, and
Good day at
drug
the
about
office.
3 defenders within 10 yards.
That's
So that was pretty
right.
good to see. Zookeeper chiming in. Wooldridge's performance tied for 9th most passing yards in the game. Terrence Broadway, 373 against the South Arkansas Warhawks in 2012. So, hey, Terrence Broadway, great quarterback for the Cajuns. Loved him under center. And then Kenny Almendaris, he is also telling us 1 point away from the third all-time in scoring in Cajuns history, 25 away from Elijah McGuire's record of 318. So Zookeeper, I appreciate you keeping notes there. Terry, we got one more before we get to you. Andy Thomas, first of all, I want to know what did that finger comment mean? You mean one finger? What does that mean, bro?
What finger comment?
Yeah, you said something. Was that you that said something about Nick with the one finger? Hold on, let me go back. Nick again with his first fingers.
With the Diddy fingers. Didn't you say that last week?
That I did say. The Diddy fingers showed up again this week.
Hey, I respect it. You know, good for you. Let Terry go because I'm doing something real quick.
All right, Terry. Before you go, let me go ahead and Terry Johnson. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great since we made Teddy Gallagher look like a jackass. So
well, yeah, that's always very satisfying, to be honest with you.
I mean that dude wouldn't bust a grape in a food fight. So that dude's so annoying.
Bust a grape in a food fight. That's a new one. I'm gonna use that one, Terry. I'm gonna save that one for later.
I mean, it's just so going in, right? Here's my initial thought process going into the game itself, right? I initially thought we were gonna out physical Coastal, and they actually out physicaled us from most of the game, right? And I think that's in 2020. We outmatched them like man for man in the trenches. I think in this game they matched us pretty well, especially when they were stealing momentum and they won the mid late, like the last 4 minutes of the second half, first 4 minutes of the first half. They outmatched. They won that, right? So we couldn't score at the beginning of the second half, and so they score at the end of the first, which has happened. Has it happened past 3 games or past 4 games, something like that?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's something that we just have to clean up is we have to win that middle 8 because that's the momentum you bring into halftime, right? And it was their homecoming. They had momentum, right? But I mean, like Jerry said, like without Bennett and that quarterback change, they honestly didn't have much. And maybe if they would have made that quarterback change earlier, right, then maybe they could have made it the game a little bit closer. I mean, we got a couple sacks, drops and missed tackles. I mean, that's just really frustrating. And I understand why Dez does this because he wants guys to have fresh legs, right? But Zylan gets hurt. Draylon is not, I don't know if he's still nursing that, high ankle sprain that he had. But you keep Bill Davis in there as much as possible.
Feed
You
Bill.
get him,
Agreed.
you feed him the ball more. I don't care if they have 12 people in the box. I don't care if they bring in the cheerleaders to tackle. I don't give a damn. You run him until, he says, "Hey, coach, I got to get out." I mean, the players know their own bodies. If they feel like they need to get a rest, like they listen to that, switch them out. But you keep feeding the beast. And also, how does Lance Lejeune only has 2 catches for the day? He needs more touches.
I still want to see him in a Taysom Hill type of role. And we saw one play this season where we had him somewhat in a Taysom, but I want to see the man under center and then see what we do. I want that on tape for other people to worry about Lance Lejeune behind the line of scrimmage, and we haven't seen that yet.
I know it's frustrating. I don't get it. I mean, I feel like Dez called a great offensive game. Without the drop passes, we probably win this game. Of course, like by 3 or 4 scores.
Except in the second quarter, at the end of that half, where it was, and I get it, he was just going to take the ball and get the ball back. but you felt like, I mean, you have 30 somewhat seconds on the clock. You're in midfield. It's second
Yeah,
and
two
whatever.
timeouts.
Yeah,
That was so
yeah. I didn't get that.
I feel like if we can't run the ball very well, do more screens. I feel like if they're stacking the box, like we only did like a handful of screens in the game, and they were four. I think one or two, and they were for like 5 yards. I think at least, right? I mean, the O line played as well as they could. Coastal's defensive line was better than I thought. We did allow 2 sacks, but damn, when we needed the offensive line to hold up blocks and on that long play, and also that's credit to Ben's escapability because, I mean, like, I didn't know Ben had escapability like that. I think we were all surprised that he was able to get away from that sack, and if he took that sack, okay, they either have to burn a timeout or they have to let the clock roll. I mean, it would have frustrated me, but like the fact he was able to roll out, and I thought it was going to be an incomplete pass, so I was like, oh man, he could have just taken the sack. I mean, that was sports in the top 10. I mean, that was
the play of the year for us. That's the play of the year to this point.
Yeah,
hands down.
I mean, I'm happy for Kenny. I mean, I feel like we screwed him on that first half field goal on the first drive where we should have been a better field goal. Have we, gotten a little bit closer? We had a couple drop passes on that drive, but happy for him. And I mean, of course, like I don't know. I don't know if this got brought up because I couldn't hear Tyler Guidry talk earlier. For some reason, I can't hear some of these people talk when I'm listening on the space. But the bad snaps, y'all notice a few bad snaps on punts?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, on the long snapper had some issues tonight. It was very reminiscent of App State, except not quite as bad. App State a couple of years ago where we couldn't. It's like you got the yips. That's almost what it felt like today. Do we have a different long snapper, Jerry? Do you know? I don't know, but it was. I agree there, and even from Landon Burton, there were a couple of snaps to Ben that looked a little like he had to come high or low. It was just a little weird.
Just a bad day at the office. It happens.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry, you know that. I mean, you were a center at one time. Sometimes, I mean, when you snap it, there's some games I'm sure you're like, maybe today wasn't my best day snapping the ball. I'm hoping that was it.
And maybe they had a little too much fun at Myrtle Beach, which is like 15, 20
which
miles.
Which is not right, not coastal, right? Not Conway, not the same.
But yeah, it's and last thing I'll say is this team is resilient. I'm proud of Dez. I see the fire in him when he gets mad or that's the fire that when guys get penalties, when on the sideline, when the refs don't make a proper call, I love seeing him get after it. Now, one thing I'll say, and I don't know if y'all noticed this or even cared, but when Mason Narcisse, he was the one that made that last sack, right?
I believe so. Yes, I think
did
so.
Did y'all see that gun celebration he did?
No, I did not. Oh God,
not cool. I don't like it.
I was about to go crazy.
We're not the guy. We're not the guy at T-Sab. Come on, man.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was like he like kicked down the door, had like I don't know a shotgun shot. Look, happy for the man. It gets exciting. I've been there before, but come on, man, we can't have stuff like that.
You can celebrate other ways. You can celebrate other ways without doing something like that and sacrifice a possible 15-yard penalty, right?
Yeah, but look, I love Mason. Again, when I play defense on NCAA 24, I'm playing Mason Narcisse. He just has that propensity. We've seen it a couple times this season. He's got that propensity to get a little emotional in the game. But again, I don't like it. I mean, we're not the guy that decided to take a check and leave and go across the basin. Don't be that guy. You're better than that, man. We're all better than that.
No, but overall, man, the team played together, hit hurdles. We would have lost this game last year and the year before, and just to get the revenge. So on that 2020, game that should have happened, I was on deployment. And I'm getting like emails from my buddies talking about getting excited for the game. And when you're on a warship, you don't get like the best internet unless you're in the Middle East. And then fun fact, you're in the Middle East, you get a better satellite and better bandwidth. So we get in the Middle East, I get a better satellite. I check the scores or I check for updates. I get a email from one of the buddies like, hey, it's canceled. If Coastal, if Cincinnati loses, Coastal goes to the New Year Six, and we just go. And I was so mad for the rest of that deployment. So this felt like, and it's like nobody. I couldn't express it to anybody because I couldn't really talk to anybody.
I know.
I know. So shout out to these boys today. Shout out to all the guys that couldn't get that revenge. The Levi Lewises. All those guys are part of that class that couldn't get their revenge on the chickens, and this was great, man. This is great,
It was
and
a
on
great,
national television too.
exactly.
That was awesome.
A great win, totally.
So thank y'all.
Thank
Appreciate it,
you,
Terry.
sir, Terry. We got one more, and then we'll hand it back to you, Jerry, to close it out. Andy, you done whatever you're doing? We take precedence over whatever you're doing right now. So you need to understand that.
Last time I checked, guys, my wife takes precedent over you.
That's good answer.
Good answer.
No
She's
offense.
listening.
And also, just announcing anything I say on Twitter cannot be held against me in a court of law.
But will be recorded, just saying.
But it will be recorded. It's hearsay. So offense, man, we got some dogs. Terrence Carter doing absolute witchcraft again. Last week he beat triple coverage to score a touchdown. This year or today he mossed a guy going to look like 20 feet up in the air.
And that was awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot to mention that earlier.
So, yeah, I mean, shout out. I do wish we would run the ball in obvious situations. Sometimes when just run the damn ball. And then thank you. And then defense. I know we were saying they came up clutch. I don't know if it's just me. I think they got lucky. The guy sailed. I think it was the third down play. The guy sailed the ball to that wide receiver. I think was wide open. So defense still has a lot of work. Yeah, just mostly in the run. We just can't stop the run. I don't know what it is. We mostly the tackling. They got to figure it out because, I think Cajun Zookeeper and maybe RC Landry said someone, but it's gonna that's gonna cause us to drop a game or two, and that needs to get corrected. Wide receivers dropping the ball. Feel like we haven't talked about that enough. I know we mentioned it, but man, they need to hit the jugs or something. Or Ben needs to just start slinging balls at them nonstop until they could catch a ball. But hey, I guess we won. Makes me feel a little better. Still upset.
Andy, it'll be okay, man. You'll feel better about it tomorrow.
10 days. You got 10 days
give
to
Terry
cool off. You know?
I say you or me, Terry, and Bryce, man, are on the round table for the most negative Nancy's.
Do I need to make this? Do I need to make it your when you come on you as well? I mean,
hey,
good God.
I turned the game off for a sec. I couldn't.
I know.
And then
I
was
saw
like,
that.
Nah,
And I'm
we're
like,
gonna
you
watch.
jerk. Who does that?
The man wants to keep his blood pressure down, Nick. I think Andy's blood pressure was getting a little too high for comfort.
Well, me too, but that's because I drink too much.
That is true. Yeah.
I'm not old enough yet for my doctor to give me blood pressure medicine, but maybe if I tell him I'm a Cajuns fan, maybe he'll understand.
Instant. You don't even need to go to the doctor for that. Call Hims or something. They'll give you an instant prescription if you say you're a Cajuns fan.
Shoot, no joke. So, but yeah, hey, win's a win, I guess. Just we got to stop being dumb. Just
Agreed.
Play smart football. That's all it is.
No, we need to clean some things up. There's no question. But again, we have 10 days to do it. So.
I appreciate you, Andy, as always, man. Thanks
we appreciate you guys,
Thank you. Somebody does.
Thank you.
I don't know if the admin necessarily appreciates us, but I'm glad to hear you guys do.
Thank you, Andy.
I know. I'm just waiting for Josh in here. He needs to get in here.
Well, I think I'm not sure Josh is in town. He's got some things going on, but I'm sure he's going to call the hot take hotline and we'll play that later this week.
Unbelievable.
All right, Andy, appreciate you, man. Jerry, I think that's it. I know you got plans. I know we got things going on, so I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Terry's got his hand raised. He's got a question.
Geez. What you got, Terry?
Last thing I'll say is that before we leave, we have to take their 2020 trophy and put it on the plane. It's only fair.
Yeah, jerks.
I know. That is true. That is true.
We should
was Teddy at the game? Do we know?
No, Teddy coaches.
No.
He's like a grad assistant for
Oh,
Liberty.
he's at Liberty. He doesn't even care about his own school.
With Chad Loss.
I thought he
whatever.
pissed heel.
No, he's an idiot. But
hey, I got a question for y'all.
Yeah, go
Sue
ahead.
you. Watch your mouth.
So tell him to sue me.
I got a question. If there's one guy on the team that we had to send to their facility to take back that trophy, who would it be?
Like of
Terrence
current year
Carter.
team?
Who?
Terrence Carter.
You're talking about
Terrence Carter,
current
just
team? Oh,
because
Terrence Carter all
he
day.
can-
No,
he-
this
I mean,
team,
he's
the
got
team
the hands.
that's there now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Terrence Carter walk
He's
in
got
and
the-
take
he's
that
got the
shit.
hands.
Yeah.
He'll moss the trophy.
Correct.
That's great information. Love it.
Anyway,
Good
guys.
stuff, man.
Well, thank y'all so much for calling in. Thanks to everybody for listening. Once again, Cajuns win by the score of 34-24 over the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Avenged from 2020, baby. Avenged from 2020. Oh, Nick, it feels good to be 6-1, 3-0 in conference play. Now we actually get to take a break for 10 days to enjoy this 6-1 record. Bowl eligible for the 7th straight season. Enjoy it, Cajun Nation. It's a lot of fun. But we'll be back probably next week. We have some things on the pipeline that we're going to discuss in our next few episodes. We'll also preview the big showdown in San Marcos, Texas. But in the meantime, sit back, relax, and enjoy this nice victory against the Chanticleers. That's going to do it for tonight. If you like what we do, please like, subscribe, comment. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or X, formerly known as Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. You can listen to us audio-wise on Spotify and Apple iTunes. And, we'll be back hopefully next week to discuss some more fun Cajun activities around the area. For Nick, I'm Jerry. We are the Raging Review Podcast. In the words of the late, great Big Dave Thibodeau, bye! We out of here. See you next time for more Raging Review. And as always, go Cajuns.
Feel the touch of a precious child and old mother's love. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most, not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on